was that?
Hello. Amazing. That was brilliant. Right. I feel like James Bond.
Well now, I've seen your bride and she looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure for most of the day, all eyes are going to be on her. So this is your moment of glory. Daniel's made a fabulous effort. Turn round, face your guest. This is your moment. That's it. That's your time. Daniel's ably assisted today by his best man, Matt. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had that all-important signal. Emily today will be escorted to her wedding by her father, Mike, and her bridesmaids, Laura and Holly. And I believe we have a flower girl, Erin, and page boys, Archie and Charlie. So, ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand to welcome the bridal party? Ladies and gentlemen, do please be seated. Use that chair just a little bit more. We're going to get married. That's better. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, bride and groom, good afternoon. Welcome to the Elvetham on this very special day for Emily and Daniel. My name is Phil Dunford, and I have the privilege of guiding our bride and groom through their declarations and vows. My colleague is Kelly Wadmore, and she has the responsibility for effecting the legal record of this marriage and for creating our couple's marriage certificate. We are both registrars for Hampshire, and it is our pleasure to join you here today on this very special and joyous occasion. Emily and Daniel, you are making a little bit of history here today, as when the ceremony is over and the marriage register has been signed, it will be returned to the vault, and when completed, will join all the other birth, death and marriage registers in Winchester, going back to 1837. These registers give us a very good insight into life over the last 175 years, and today you become part of that story. The civil marriage ceremony is the exchange of vows by means of two declarations. In their first declaration, our bride and groom will state that they are free to marry. In the second, they will make their marriage vows to each other. And at the end of the ceremony, I will be asking all of you, as honoured guests, to say that you will help and support the newlyweds throughout their married lives by responding enthusiastically, "We will." This place, this lovely place in which we are now met, has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriages. And we are all gathered here today to witness the joining in marriage of Daniel and Emily. Before we continue with the ceremony, it is required that our bride and groom both state their full names to everyone gathered here. We always begin with the groom. Say your full name, please, sir.
Daniel Stuart Monty Jackson.
Thank you. It's a lovely name. Look, you've had your moment. And a lovely bride, please.
I had to say it though, didn't you?
Emily Sarah Williams.
Thank you. Would you both stand? Right. Can I just invite you forward? Come here. Because I now ask, who gives this bride in marriage?
I do.
Thank you. Pass the hand there. Thank you. It has long been the tradition for a family member to escort the bride to the wedding ceremony. And in this ceremony today, Mike has upheld that tradition by escorting Emily to join Daniel as an expression of his best wishes for their future happiness together. So thank you, Mike. Sit down. Thank you. Daniel and Emily, before you are married, I have to remind you of the solemn and binding character of the vows you are about to make. Marriage, according to the law of this country, is the union of one man with one woman, voluntarily entered into for life to the exclusion of all others. But further, it is a solemn union to provide the love and friendship, help and comfort that each of you will have for the other, both in times of joy and in times of trouble. Marriage calls for trust and honesty, understanding and forgiveness, and sometimes the need for compromise or to say sorry. It is not to be entered into lightly or to be lightly put aside. If anyone present knows of any lawful impediment to this marriage, they should declare it now. So I think that's as quiet as they're going to be all day. It's safe to continue. Do take a seat. Emily and Daniel have chosen to include a couple of readings in their ceremony today. So may I now ask Laura, please, to step forward for her reading.
This is a poem called The One, and I don't know who it's by. So, when the one whose hand you're holding is the one who holds your heart, when the one whose eyes you gaze into gives your hopes and dreams their start, when the one you think of first and last is the one who holds you tight, and the things you plan together make the whole world seem just right, when the one whom you believe in puts their faith and trust in you, you've found the one and only love you'll share your whole life through.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able and wish to, would you now please stand to support the couple as they take their vows? I now have to ask each of you in turn to declare that there is no lawful reason why you should not be married to each other. We always begin with our groom. So Daniel, I'm going to ask you to repeat after me.
Mm-hmm.
I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare.
Sorry, try to I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly. I do solemnly declare
that I know not of any lawful impediment why I, Daniel
Stuart Monty Jackson
may not be joined in matrimony to Emily Sarah Williams.
Thank you.
I do solemnly declare
I do solemnly declare
that I know not
that I know not
of any lawful impediment why I, Emily Sarah Williams, may not be joined in matrimony to Daniel Stewart Monty Jackson. Marriage is not only a legal contract, but a promise made in the hearts of two people. And to make those promises now, would you please turn to face one another, and if you wish, join hands. So Daniel, I'll ask you to repeat after me. I call upon these persons here present.
I call upon these persons present.
Sorry. I call upon these persons here present.
I call upon these persons here present.
To witness that I,
Daniel Stewart Monty Jackson,
do take thee,
Emily Sarah Williams, to be my lawful wedded wife.
Well done. Okay, Emily. I call upon these persons here present. To witness that I, Emily Sarah Williams, do take thee, Daniel Stewart Monty Jackson, to be my lawful wedded husband. Thank you. Daniel, do you promise to love, comfort and protect Emily, to listen patiently, speak the truth and to support and care for her, no matter what the future may bring?
I do.
Thank you. Emily, do you promise to love, comfort and protect Daniel, to listen patiently, speak the truth and to support and care for him, no matter what the future may bring?
I do.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do please be seated. You stay standing. We've now come to the exchange of rings, which is the ancient and traditional way of sealing the contract you have made. The ring is an unbroken circle, which symbolises unending and everlasting love, and is the outward sign of the promises you are making to each other today. The tradition of wearing it on the third finger dates back over 2,000 years. The vena amoris, meaning literally vein of love, was thought to run directly from this finger to the heart. So may I now ask Matt, please, to step forward with the rings. Thank you. That's it. So Daniel, pop Emily's ring onto her finger, so she can reach from there. And repeat after me. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol of our marriage.
As a symbol of our marriage.
And a token of our love.
And a token of our love.
Wear it and know that I am always by your side.
Wear it and know I will always be
by your side. Easy, gently does it. It's good luck if it's tight. It's not good luck if you break a finger. Steady on. Just easy. That's it. It's a hot day. It's fine. Perfect. It was made for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And repeat after me. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol of our marriage.
As a symbol of our marriage.
And a token of our love.
And a token of our love.
Wear it and know that I am always by your side.
Wear it and know that I'm always by your side.
Thank you. Well done. Splendid. The love that we share is never wasted. When we receive love, we learn to give love to those around us. Look to this lovely day. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence, the joy of family support and the power of love. And now, family and friends of Emily and Daniel, will you promise to help and support them throughout their married life together? We will! Jolly good. Thank you. Well, do take a seat. There we are. And we're going to have another reading now, thank you, read by Sarah.
I'd like to read a short piece from Louis de Bernier's Captain Corelli's Mandolin. For those of you not familiar, the story is set on the island of Kefalonia during the Second World War, when the islands were occupied by the Italian army. And the young woman at the centre of the story, Pelagia, is engaged to be married to a young local man, but has fallen madly in love with the Italian Captain Corelli. And her father, who is very fond of the young man, is fearful that she's about to break his heart. And this is what he has to say to her about love and what love really is. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. It is not the desire to mate every second minute of the day. It is not lying awake at night imagining that he is kissing every cranny of your body. No, don't blush. I am telling you some truths. That is just being in love, and any fool can do this. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away, and this is both an art and a fortunate accident.
Thank you. Marriage is a new beginning for our bride and groom. May all their hopes and dreams be realised. May they believe in one another. May they be devoted each to one another. Through their years together, may their love grow and deepen through giving each to the other. Emily and Daniel, we have all shared with you what is at heart a private moment between two people. We hope you will look back and remember this day with great happiness. The vows you have made today are those required by law, and you have made a solemn and binding contract with each other in the presence of your witnesses, your family, and your friends. May the vows on your lips today live forever in your hearts. Do stand, because it is now my great pleasure and privilege to tell you that from this day forward, you are husband and wife. Guests, I've had the pleasure of seeing our bride and groom's smiling faces during this ceremony, so I'm now going to ask them to turn around to face you all as I present the new Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. Emily will leave on Daniel's left-hand side to be as close as possible to his heart. Some would say as close to his wallet. And in days of old, to keep his sword hand free. May I ask you all please to stand as the bride and groom leave to their reception.
was not ours to see. Que sera, sera. She usually relaxes when you sing that.
Not gonna work, but just take your dress off then. I've got it on now. I'll say it. Let me just stamp her in it. Yeah, just take the number off.
Right over it.
No, just do it like this. I'm too frightened.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I claim your attention, please, for the father of the bride, Mr. Mike Williams.
So I guess you're having a good time then. Good, 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 good. So, good afternoon, or good evening actually, ladies and gentlemen, and children. So on behalf of Sarah and myself, I'd like to welcome you to Emily and Daniel's wedding. It's a fantastic venue. And it just feels, I've got this speech written here, and I just kind of feel like, wow, what a day so far. The helicopter. Do you enjoy the helicopter?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that's good. And then everything else, it's just, the magician was great, wasn't he?
Good.
Did you see the magician?
It was good.
It was good. Who's had their who's had their caricatures done? Caricatures done. Eh? Yeah? You like that? That was good. It's good. I think it's great. So look, first, so it's, you know, I saw Emily this morning, and when I saw Emily, doesn't she look absolutely stunning? Absolutely stunning. And what you don't realise is that every day, well most days actually, Emily comes in our house in joggers and muck boots. So, you know, to see her as a contrast really from where she is now to joggers and muck boots. So, I think you're absolutely beautiful today, Emily. And Daniel. What can I say about Daniel? Sorry, Monty. Now, what you've got to realise is that you know, Daniel and Emily have known each other for 10 years now, and I've never called him Monty actually, but I've always called him Daniel. And you couldn't actually want to meet a nicer bloke than Daniel. And so we've known him for 10 years, and Daniel, I'd really like to officially welcome you to our family today. Right, so some of you know that I do like a microphone, and we are on television as well, so that's good. So I've got three things to start with. Firstly is a bit more of an extensive welcome. Then a few thank yous, and then probably an apology at the end of it. So, start with the welcome. So, many of you have travelled a long way here today, many from Bristol. So, those from Bristol, wave. They've hit the old scrumpy with them. Yeah. And we got a few Bristol Rovers supporters here. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Calm down, calm down, calm down.
I'm just saying.
And we've got Ian and Louise who've come down from Lincoln. So that's another wrong way. Yeah. All the Lincoln people cheer. And then I think the best one actually is Margaret and Frank who've come halfway around the world from New Zealand to be here today. But I've got to tell you, Frank's a pilot, so that's kind of cheating a little bit, really, isn't it? So
He was supposed to be in America.
yeah, that's right, he's supposed to be in America. Well said, Colin, well said, Colin. So, and I'd like to welcome all your friends for coming today, because I think you've kind of made it so much fun so far, and it's just been great so far. So a few thank yous. I don't know actually who ordered the weather, but the weather's been actually good. Did you do that? Did you do that?
I did.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Spoke to God.
Yeah, spoke to God. And so the weather's been great, and I'd like to thank Amy. I'd like to thank Amy for not having the baby yet. So Amy could be here today without having that baby, but we do have a couple of nurses in the room here today, and we've got the hot water and the towels ready. So just in case you do decide to, you know, I think we're okay. And when tonight, none of this dancing, okay, none of that, because you started doing a bit of that earlier on. It wasn't very good. So don't do that, okay? I'd also like to thank Emily and Daniel for organising all of this today, because the only thing I've actually done is I did test run my suit at one point. I prepared my speech, and I've written the checks. So that's what I've done so far. The rest of it has been down to Emily, I guess, really, isn't it?
Yeah, not Daniel.
With a tiny bit of help from Daniel. What did you do, Dan?
The horseshoes. Horseshoes. Daniel did horseshoes.
Everyone's horseshoes. I done them.
So Daniel did the horseshoes. Okay? Daniel did the horseshoes. Cheer for Daniel. Yeah, well done, Daniel. So right, the apology is actually going to be, if you're going to keep cheering and things like that, this speech is going to last a long time. So, and as I said, I do like a microphone, so it might last a bit of a long time. So the apology is for that. The textbook says 6 or 7 minutes, but might go over that a little bit. Especially is for those of you who really do know Emily, the stories, I could go on for hours and hours, but I can't do that. So I'll try and get in with as few good stories as we can, just from, you know, how we've done a few things. And we'll see how we go from there, okay?
Mate, I've got a tenner on you for 12 minutes.
10 on for 12 minutes, I think that's blown, I think you're out. I think you've lost that already. Is it? So let me start at the beginning. So Emily, we knew Emily was going to be different right from the very beginning because Sarah spent 2 days in labour with Emily, and the first of those days was the London Marathon. And I think Sarah did her own London Marathon, ran all the corridors of Bristol Maternity Hospital until Emily actually did arrive. On Monday. So when she did put an appearance, she got rushed to the special care baby unit because she'd been in labour for such a long time. So just looking at you, Abe.
Get it over quick.
But she was £9, and your £9 in the special baby care unit means that you're actually quite big against the rest of them. And so you dwarfed them, didn't you? But she turned out okay, as you can see. She's okay. She's not too bad. Okay. So yeah. So I mean, since the years, I think we've had a few laughs, haven't we? We've had a few tears.
Yeah.
And we've fallen out a few times. But I've got to say, not actually over the wedding preparation. So we got a bit tense here, but not really fallen out. So that's good. Okay. Now Emily has a habit of getting her own way, and I've tried to fathom this out for 26 years and can't actually work it out. It just doesn't compute, really. The latest example is here. You know, so we're looking for a place for a wedding, and we kind of thought it was going to be a small affair, first of all. So I think there's 100 people in this room, and tonight there could be 250. Has anybody from the hotel? It might be a bit more than 250, so you can't tell them that. So it's going to grow. So we were looking for a venue, and she kind of found this place, and then showed us on the internet, and said, "Okay, this is the place we're going to have, and by the way, you're paying for it." But you know, I haven't actually seen what's going on here today. I think it's really worth it, don't you, Emily?
Yeah, I think
And you, Daniel? But you know, one way I've worked out one way actually how she does get her own way. She waits for us to go on holiday, and when we go on holiday, we're on the beach or on holiday somewhere, and then we get the phone call, and it's Emily, and she says, "I've made another big purchase." And the first time it was, I bought a horse box. The second time was, I bought a brand new car, and by the way, you need to help me pay for it. And the third time was the dog, Tilly. And that was a shock, because we turned up at home, and there was this tiny little dog. Well, it was a dog at that time, it was a little tiny thing. In a cage, sat in a cage. So that's how she does it. So life has always been eventful with you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So at 6, when we were about 6, we were going down the M5, so we needed some petrol. So I went to the Dalton Dean services, and cars loaded, got a trailer on the back, bikes and everything else in there. And so I put petrol in the car, and out goes Emily, out goes the kiosk. Emily comes running out, I want some sweets. Where's the keys? Oh, they're in the car. Where's the car? The car's locked. And so the car was locked with all this stuff in the middle of the services, blocking everything. And the only way I could get out was I had to join the RAC. So that's what I had, and I've been there ever since. So.
Yeah, members ever since.
Yeah. Another one was when at 1 o'clock in the morning, when you're about 13,
little one.
I had the pocket phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so I thought, what's this all about then? So I phoned her back, and at 1 o'clock in the morning she said, "Oh, I'm just in the local repair at Binfield." And that was okay.
She was on a sleepover. She was supposed to be gone for a sleepover. That's what she told her.
Thank you for that interjection.
With her friend.
And then suddenly I heard the Reading station announcer in the background, and where she'd been clubbing at the age of 13 at level 1 in Reading. So I decided it was time to go and get her. So I went off to get her and got there at about 2 o'clock. And as you can imagine, in the car on the way back, the atmosphere was a bit frosty, wasn't it? It was a bit frosty because, you know, it was she was not allowed at the age of 13. So that's my stories about Emily, really. I just picked two choice ones. So I could go on for ages. And oh, I don't know. I can tell you about a horse. What about a horse? Forgot about the horse, haven't we?
Yeah.
So let's talk about horses. So Emily's been involved with the horses since she was age of 10 with Laura. But Emily's still been involved with horses now, as you can see. Many of you saw Madge here today. So we've, since the age of 10, there's been Duchess, which is the first one, which is a Welsh cob. I thought it was a bit of a cart horse, but Emily won her first competition on it with Family Pony. And then we came after that was Flame, Moon, Royal,
Yeah.
and then Madge, which is now your pride and joy, I guess, isn't it? So horses has been a big part of your life, and we've also been to the hospital many times as well, haven't we? Because of the numerous accidents that you've had. But the best part of the thing, I think your equestrian highlight was when you beat our Olympic silver medalist, Zara Phillips, in an eventing competition at Smith's Lawn. But Zara wasn't actually on Toy Town at that time, was she? No. Okay.
Not quite.
So that's pretty much about Emily, I think. Having talked about horses, we did actually talk about what's Emily's good points, really. And her granddad said, "Well, I think Emily's really cuddly." So, yeah, so you might be cuddly at the moment, Amy as well. So Emily says she's cuddly. Well, from her parents' point of view, I think Sarah and myself would say that Emily is great fun to be around. Yeah. She's got a great personality. Yeah. She's thoughtful and she's caring. And we actually love you dearly, Em. So that's it about Emily. I've got a few things to say about Daniel. Because I said Daniel's been with us for 10 years. And don't worry, Dan, it's all good stuff, Dan. So don't worry. I don't know about Matt, though, because he was on your stag night, wasn't he? So I can't vouch for him about what's going to come out in his speech. So before we knew Daniel, there was a couple of notable events that I've got to talk about. One was that, was it 3 years old that you went in for the Baby Smile of the Year competition? And this was on Breakfast TV. So Daniel was actually on Breakfast TV when he was 3. And there's a picture out there of him in a red Southwester with a hat on. And he actually came runners up, and I think he won a year's supply of nappies. So go on, Dan, you got to stand up and give us a smile. Just the only other picture I've got, you've got to look at the Bertie Bassett outfit out there, because when you see Bertie Bassett out there, that's actually Daniel inside Bertie Bassett, and I think he won the fancy dress competition for that. And Sue, I know you made that costume, and I think you got the challenge now of dressing out all the grandchildren in fancy dress competition.
I still wear it.
You still wear it. Colin still wears it. So, Colin, we don't want to know what happens in your personal life, if you don't mind, but there you go.
Only on special nights.
Only on special nights, that's right. Yeah. So, with Dan, as I said earlier, Dan's been with us for 10 years. We've had some great times. He's been on holiday with us several times. We've played football. We've played golf. I think we've got drunk together, haven't we? Various times, yeah, a few times, so that's good. So, but the story that comes, I'm sure we'll be drunk together again tonight. But I'm sure that one of the stories that comes to mind is when we first went skiing. So we'd been skiing for a number of years, and Dan decided he wanted to come with us. And so we said, Dan, why don't you go to the dry ski slope at John Nike and have a few lessons? He said, yeah, that's a good idea, I'll be there. So we did that, and he went along and reported to us every time he came back. And then we got on the slopes in France. And the first thing he did was, I don't know what the first thing was, he kind of went down in some strange way, fall over, ended up on his back with a small Christmas tree sticking up between his legs. And then he admitted to us that he'd only had one lesson, and the rest of the time he spent in the pub. So, no surprise there then, eh? No surprise there. So,
He's a good skier now.
But he's a good skier now, yeah. He kept going that week, and he actually ended up, at the end of that week, going down black runs with us. Well, he probably actually went down black runs with Tom, not with me. But I think you're a natural, Dan. And I think it's probably one of your favourite things to do now, isn't it? So, I guess, so finally what I'd like to say is, you know, when you've got a daughter, you want to find a guy, you want to marry a guy that cares for her, loves her, and is really your best friend in life. And I think Dan actually fits that bill absolutely perfectly. And both Sarah and myself are pleased to have Dan join our family. So that's it. So again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today to celebrate Emily and Daniel's wedding on this special day. There's lots more to come for this evening. I think you've enjoyed a few things already. So there's things to come, and I hope you have as much fun. And for those who came to Emily's 21st birthday party, that was really good fun. So I hope you have as good a time tonight. And I'd like to thank my daughter and her husband, Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. For making Sarah and myself very, very proud parents.
He ain't gonna say that about you.
And we wish both of them all the love and happiness forever. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I claim your attention, please, for a response from your bridegroom, Daniel Jackson!
Right, you've got to bear with me. I'm a little bit wonky, so. I'm sorry. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, family, and friends. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to Mike for his kind words and for his beautiful daughter. Some of you have travelled a long way to come and celebrate our wedding, and we appreciate it very much. So on behalf of my wife and I, I'd like to thank you all for joining us to celebrate our marriage today. It's a privilege to be in the company of so many people that are important in our lives. And we are delighted to welcome you here to share our special day with us. It's great to see you all, and I can honestly say it wouldn't have been the same without you. I think you all agree how beautiful Emily looks today. You look stunning, and I'm really proud to call you my wife. Emily, I love you very much, and look forward to spending the rest of our lives together. Maybe one day we might have children and a family of our own, but we agree there's no rush. We'll leave it at that. Events like today don't just happen. We've been planning this wedding now for some time. Well, I say we, Emily actually did most of the work. One of the best things about being a man is that weddings seem to organise themselves. But seriously, Emma's worked her arse off for the last 6 months, and we haven't seen much of each other because of that and planning the wedding. So I'm really looking forward to spending time with her on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing Emily in her Waitrose high-vis jacket and steel toe-cap boots. But when she finished her late shift. So to see her today looking gorgeous, she can definitely leave her work uniform at home. She's done an amazing job, and I'm proud of her and what she's achieved.
Yeah.
So a big thank you, and everyone else has helped organise today. So I'd like to raise a toast to Emily. To Emily.
Well done, Em.
One thing's for certain, Emily will never leave me. I mean, she spent the last 10 years training me, so why waste it?
That's true.
I'd like to say a few thank yous to the people who helped make today possible. With contributions, constant support and hard work. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. I want to say how much we appreciate your hope, and I'd like to present you with a gift and a big thank you. So to Sarah and Mike, we have some presents.
Oh.
Well, for the ladies anyway. Soft nice.
Love you.
Sarah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Mum and Colin.
Thank you, Mum and Colin. Sorry, Colin. And finally, my dad and Louise. Anyway, thank you. Cheers. Next brings me on to the bridesmaids. Just want to say how lovely Laura and Holly look today, and thank them for looking after Emily and getting her here today. So thanks, girls. I've got a couple of presents. So come on up. Come on down. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Holly, thank you. Now to the best looking flower girl in the room, a present for you, Erin. So Erin, come and get your present. Where are you?
Here she is.
There you go, Erin. Thank you. Next on the two page boys who look very grown up today, Archie and Charlie. What's your present? Archie, there you go, mate. Give me 5, Archie. Yeah? Yes.
Yeah, Charlie.
We're in the back.
Take the bag. That's it.
Now to the ushers, thanks for all your help. Come up, Mike, Tom, Simmons, and Sophie. Simmons?
Thank you. What is it?
Thank you. Cheers, son.
Thank you.
Shaky?
Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, bro. Cheers, sis.
Thomas? Sorry, mate. Just the way I went, mate. Cheers, Tom. And Mo. Thank you, mate. finally brings me to the best man, Matt, who's going to give his own speech in a minute, so hopefully, if you like the present, the speech won't be that bad. And you won't mention my nudity in a taxi on the stag do. Thanks for your mate. Thanks for being my best man. So thank you all once again. I'd like you to join me in raising your glasses to the new Mrs. Jackson. To Mrs. Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now claim your attention, please, for a reply on behalf of the bridesmaids, your best man, Mr. Matt Howell!
What evening so far? Bear with me a minute because I wrote this in the helicopter on the way here. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family of the bride and groom. Oh, and Squid. Sorry, mate. I'd like to start off this evening by introducing myself. My name is Matt, and I'm Daniel's best man and best friend. Well, maybe not long after this speech. So, for the next few minutes, I'd like to tell you some stories you may or not know about Daniel, and tell you what he means to me as a friend. The speech was tough for me, as Daniel was a hard man to think dirt on. I mean, I could talk all night how he was stark naked in a taxi back from Cardiff. On the stag do. But those of you who are on Facebook would have already seen that. Thanks, Sammy. Good work, mate. On the second night, after no less than 28 Jaeger bombs, he lost his socks and returned to the hotel barefoot, shoes tied together, dangling around his neck. The stag do wasn't all bad for Daniel, for a couple of reasons. One was he got to see Squid in a wetsuit, which made all of our weekends, I'm sure you'll agree, boys. And two, he got to meet in person his hero, Mario, from the Super Mario Brothers, and got a picture, like he was wearing his favourite pink cowboy hat. I see the pictures passing around. Another funny story about Dan goes back to when he was 10 years old, playing football in his garden. He was kicking the ball all over the flowers. Sue, Dan's mum, came out and told him to stop. But after several warnings, Dan persisted to kick the ball over the flowers. Leaving poor Sue no other choice but to repeatedly stab the ball 12 times with a carving knife. So I'd like to present this award to you today, mate. I actually made this. That is the award for being most enthusiastic footballer 93 to 94 season. All jokes aside, Daniel is really an amazing person. He's old school. He's always putting other people before himself and without anyone at any time. Daniel was hard-working, unselfish, honest, loyal and a caring friend. Just to mention a few. I'm sure you'll agree Dan is an all-round top man. So you can only imagine how much it's a complete honour for me to be his best man today. And when I say that, I don't mean it lightly, it really is. Moving on to the beautiful bride Emily, and the things I say about Daniel is mirrored to Emily and her personality. They truly are an amazing couple. These qualities that we find in Daniel and Emily, I know will make for a long and happy marriage together. So on behalf of the bride and groom, and the parents of the bride and groom, I'd like to thank the bridesmaid today. They all look stunning. The ushers, who don't look too bad either. Yeah. And all of you for thanking Emily and Daniel on their very special day. So if you would like to be upstanding, raise your glasses in a toast to the new Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. Thank you very much.
We
should crumble to dust. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stay in my mind. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome to join the bride and groom now.